Thanks for staying with us. Today's hot topic is about a story we saw on Pastor Nkechi's page, NHN Couture. Okay. So there's a story we saw online that caught our attention. Was Pastor Nkechi, where she was posting about a young woman who's allegedly missing because I think her brand is styled by Ejiro. And according to the story, she joined a prayer group. And in the prayer group, where she was, I think the pastor or whoever was ministering was prophesying, talking about, you know, when you're in a prayer group and somebody saying, they mention your name, that, oh, Ejiro, God is calling you, God is saying this to you, and then that makes you come to find the pastor to understand what God is saying to you at that moment. If it's something that happens to us a lot in the religious space. In this particular story, the Ejiro reached out to the pastor in the prayer group, and since then, according to the story, she allegedly gave up her house, gave up her entire property. She's been missing. Her family hadn't seen her for a while. Then they reached out to her. She said she's an adult. She has given up her entire career for this group. And there are suspicions that this group might be a cult, or they have manipulated her or brainwashed her to take all her property. There are different ways of looking at this conversation, especially when the adult involved is saying that I am here willingly. But the conversation is not about the story because we don't have the full picture. I mean, this is a story that is developing online. And as I said, we went to NHN Couture page and we're following the story. It's still early days, but I think our focus is how are you able to differentiate or distinguish brainwashing from hearing from God or being led by the Spirit? Because a lot of people have been in this situation. I mean, I've many times in the past where even when I told my family then that my first salary I got when I was after we broke for almost 2 years, had absolutely nothing. And after working for 3 months on a project, I think it was Good Ultimate Search or one of those Multina dancehall projects, I came home with 420,000 naira. And for me, it was like a breakthrough. Mm-hmm. And I told my mom, I'm sorry. My mother was so excited for it. Okay, finally, let's go and buy fish. I'm like, this money, I'm taking it back to God. I'm sowing it. Now, because she was a Christian, she understood. But everybody else was like, are you okay? Don't you know this money? Do you know what this money can do? So as a Christian, sometimes you sound like a mad person when you do certain things for God. But the truth is that some people are really actually being brainwashed. We've seen what happened many years in the US. I think it was Florida or Kentucky, I'm not sure, where people were drawn into a room saying that we're going to go and seek God, like they were in the dormitory, and they all killed themselves. So how do you differentiate God speaking to you and you're being brainwashed in a cult? That's the conversation.
Hypnosis.
Oh, you're being hypnotized. Thank you, Waiki.
I love the perspective because even I'm following the story and I'm feeling for the lady, the Ejiro lady. I'm feeling for the family, and I'm confused to how do we even intervene?
Let's go back. For those who have no idea the story, I'd like you to give us an insight from the start to finish. Just paint the picture for us first. So we'll take it from there. So
NHM broke the story of like two days ago of searching for Ejiro. Ejiro is a stylist, styled her, and she said she got information from her family that Ejiro has shut down her phone. Ejiro is a stylist. She joined a prayer group and decided that she's going to sacrifice everything to follow God and become a prophetess. And she's been isolated from her family. She doesn't talk to her family members in any form. Her mom fell ill last year. They tried to reach her to see her mom, and she said they couldn't reach her. When they made every means and finally got to her, the information was that she told them she wasn't lost and she was serving God. And so right now, the phone number is not even going through. Like, there's no way to even reach her at all. So they reached out to NHN to sort of like because they know she has a relationship.
Okay, so let's pause you on that. This first phase, Jesus did it. This thing just said in the Bible that we are all reading. They asked Jesus. He said, "Who are my brothers and my sisters?" So we have been told that, listen, if you are going to serve God, you must seclude yourself. Those people who call you family may not, not that they're not important,
they might not understand,
but they might not understand.
So that's why I said I was confused. Because how can we tell if she's been brainwashed, and how can we tell if she's been manipulated or if she truly is hearing from God? Because there are many things in the Bible that rational mind, they say, cannot comprehend it.
Exactly.
So my thoughts was, what would be the right approach to deal with this situation? Would it be, oh, let's just all pray? But because you mentioned those stories of what happened in the US, and the one where they were eating, a pastor said they should eat grass.
Yes.
And the one that they were with snakes. Manipulation is real.
Yeah.
People are being manipulated in the name of religion and in the name of God.
Yeah.
So it is important that, imagine the people that died in the US, if they had family members that would draw them back to say, it's not true. This is not the way to get to God. You don't need to die to get to God like this, you know, but nobody probably fought for them. So this fight to rescue Ejiro is a fight that comes across as extremely valid, but how right is it? And how can we argue against an adult saying, this is what I want to do, this is what God has told me to do?
Let me come to you.
Yeah, so, but I think she should be able to recognize harm from being going close to God, because somehow in the Bible, I know that they said Jesus came and saved the world and saved a lot of things. So if he came and said, he wouldn't want you to go through that stress. He wouldn't want you to go through that stress to worship him, because at the end of the day, it's him we're trying to worship, right? So I'm expecting that she will be able to understand where harm is coming, and for her to have sold all her things and everything. Did she think of like, okay, after I finish praying and all of these things, what will I fall back to?
You say God will show you the way.
Yes.
There is a religious statement to back up every manipulation.
Because Ramatu, let me tell you, when I gave God my 420,000 naira, I handed it over to my pastor, my church, trusting that this is for the work of God. I did it. Now, that was before I got my job at High TV. That was before Your View started. So by own me, I believe that I sowed it. It was a sacrificial seed on my own part. You were not there. You would have thought I was crazy. But I did it. So there are different versions, because I hear the version of NHN saying, listen, is this girl being brainwashed? But there are two sides. What if it's a choice she has made? We might not understand it. She might be safe where she is. Maybe in the next 5 years, we'll now see a bigger Ejiro who has sacrificially. I'm trying to look at both sides, because I hear I understand your argument. But it's important because of this show, we must see things from the other side, which is crucial for a robust understanding.
Go ahead. Please, let me talk about my worry point. Isolation.
Yeah.
Okay.
My worry point is isolation. Once you are isolated, the likelihood of manipulation is very high. When you are isolated into an ideology and not allowed to see other options, that's a problem. In my Christianity, I am allowed to question the Bible. I'm allowed to question a pastor. I'm allowed to question what I'm being told. Even the Bible showed us somebody questioning God. I'm not ready to die. You cannot kill me now. Somebody told God, they said, you're going to die. He said, no, I don't want to die. I've served you. So when you are isolated into an ideology that tells you this is what God has said, and you cannot hear from any other person, you cannot consider any other view, that is a problem. And it's not even about religion. Even with groups, even with cults, that's how cults happen. What becomes a cult? You are a group of people and you say this ideology is the only way. Any other thing is wrong. Being isolated from the family for me is terrible, because it's not like the family wants to harm her in any way. So for me, that's the concern.
Right, let me come to you. Your thoughts on this generally?
I think it's not only religion where they do this isolation of, it's all a lot of even the
organizations or what?
I don't want to call them. They're not the fake babalawos, the fake ones that will tell you, oh, go and bring all this. Look, I will tell you what happened to me one day. I was coming from work, and I was walking, and I was about to enter my house when this guy stopped, and they stop you, and they will tell you, and he said, oh, they will tell you, oh, some woman in your house is trying to harm you. Now, there is no Nigerian person that doesn't have a woman in their house that is trying to harm them. No matter the Nigerian person, you have some woman somewhere that's trying to harm you. So they will first arrest you with that one. Then he started talking, this. Then he said, I should spit on my... I was a young kid. I should spit on my hand. And I spit on my hand, and the spit came out here. You know, I was being manipulated. And I knew. After a while, because it was, I think it was even the spit one that woke me up.
Like,
because he had done one or two things like that. And the spit one, Maori, he says, go home, go and get, I should go and get something. And I was looking at my house, I was looking at my mom and my grandmom, you know, sitting on the balcony, I could see them from downstairs.
Yeah.
I just woke up. So I said, okay, I'm coming. And I left. But can you imagine if I had not woken up? I would have just gone to go and pack things and I would have given them. Because another guy came and stood, he said, yeah, it's true. That one was probably part of the plan.
Okay.
So it's not just he was a Christian something. So they do it. And it's hypnosis.
Yeah.
Okay, let me come to this way, YK, because sometimes we think I feel maybe social media is the problem.
No, this one was no social media.
I know. I'm building somewhere. In fact, let me go on a break. When we come back, I'll build it properly. Stay with us. Right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.